All right, guys, good morning. Happy Fire Friday to you. It is September 6th. September 6th. The year is flying by. And, September is a time, if you have kids, whether they're school aged or not there yet, or already out of school and gone and graduated, this is the time that we, think about kind of gearing back up after vacations and after the summer. And, we have ramp up in the spring market and closing a bunch of deals. And then it's kind of take a breather, relax, go have some fun, hopefully be with friends and family. And then back at it in September. September is kind of like let's get back into it. Fall market has been picking up. Rates are threatening to keep coming down, which is a good thing in most cases. And so there's a lot of activity out there. There's a lot of indications that it's going to be a really, really great fall market, that it's already ramping up to be a great fall market. Activity is up in general. Opportunities to do all kinds of stuff. So we're going to go through all the successes for our whole group. Talk about what's going on. We're going to talk about some of the wins, and then see where we're going, and we'll hear from some of our partners. So we'll have a good time today hanging out. I am going to share my screen. Let's see if I can do this. First time doing this in the new house with a different setup. So it's always fun. You guys get to constantly go through my technology issues here. Appreciate your patience. Let's see. All right. How's that look? Does it look good? Okay. Cool deal. All right. So first of all, I just want to welcome all of our guests, and let me change my setup here. So if I can find my cursor, there it is. I'm going to see if I can see everybody's smiling faces. Do we have any guests on today? Anybody that isn't officially with us yet? I'm not seeing any names of anyone who's not with us. So cool. All right. Good deal. You're always welcome to bring guests. Guests are definitely welcome on these calls. You have anybody who's just, interested in checking out EXP, interested in checking out our group, or, just kind of wants to see what's going on out in the industry, even if they're not necessarily looking to make a move, they are welcome to come hang with us. So you can always invite your friends. And if you want to give us a heads up that they'll be here, we can give them a shout out. Or if they want to be here incognito, let us know as well, and we will not give them a shout out. They can put on sunglasses and a hat, and they can change their name on their Zoom, so no one will know who they are. Awesome. All right, cool deal. Birthdays. August. I mean, we all know that most of the highly intelligent and beautiful people were born in August. Not that I'm biased or anything, but we have a lot of August birthdays, and shout out to Kristen, who we're going to fly through some of the stuff today, but shout out to her who goes through and always gathers this information and make sure that I know what I'm talking about every week. So thank you, babe. All right. Andrea Babin Wood in Maine on the 1st. Jen, I see you on here. August 10th, we had Jeff Morgan, Nina Yang, and Rory Burkhart all on lucky August 13th. Fun. Chuck Roberts out in Colorado and now in Texas on the 18th. Lars, the 27th. And then Wendy Rupert in Texas on the 28th. I was on the 29th, big 5-0 for me this year. And Christiana was followed right behind me. She's down in Virginia on the 30th. And then in September, we had Kathy Baumbush just had her birthday yesterday. Jane Welbrock is tomorrow. Cindy's coming up. Big 2-5 for Cindy coming up on September 8th. We're excited to celebrate with you. And then Gene, the legend, Frederick, who we were just hanging out with in Colorado, is coming up on the 13th. Jake Templin in PA is on the 17th. He'll probably celebrate out on the golf course if I know him. And then Dave DeSillis in Florida on the 29th. So happy birthday to all of our August and September babies. Hope you guys get to celebrate and take a page out of Kristen's book and make sure you get at least a full month out of it. Okay. So it's a birth month, not a birthday. That's how it works. I was trained on that. In my house, it was like a birth minute. So it was a whole new concept to me. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. All right. So we don't have everyone's pictures yet, but Elisa Soto in Virginia, and Anna sponsored her coming in Virginia. And so Anna also coming through as part of Lars' group in there. So congrats and welcome to Elisa. If you're watching this on video, we're so glad you're here and look forward to hanging out with you and watching your career thrive and take off. Also, Frank Panunto brought in Carol Quattro Chochi. Who's Italian? Rapucci's. What? Chochi is a C-C-H-I is a K, right? Quattro Chochi.
Yeah, I'd say Quattro Chiocchi.
Quattro Chochi.
It's a chi. It's a ch. Okay.
Yeah.
Non parlo molto italiano. Parlo solo poco. Okay.
Yeah, and it's also not pronounced Ganuki.
Ganuki. I love Ganuki with little sauce on it, right? I thought it was ganache. I always thought it was ganache. All right, gnocchi. Kristen's aunt makes the best gnocchi in the world. All right, and FYR Polanco in Pennsylvania, sponsored by Krista. Did I see Krista on here?
She's still in Greece.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Poor Krista is suffering in the Greek islands right now. So thoughts and prayers for Krista as she's out on a boat somewhere looking at clear water. So yes, congrats to Krista and Frank and Anna, and welcome to Elisa, Carol, and FYR. So excited to have you guys added into the group. Some other things that we get to celebrate is Dan Hamblin. Dan closed a huge deal, closed double-sided that puppy, and capped like overnight. So basically, single transaction, maybe 2 transactions, and he's done. So that's the way to do it, guys. Highly recommend that. Go for the single transaction, get both sides of it, and want it done, and then just be 100% for the rest of your year. So give it a shot. All right, so congrats to Dan. Love being in business. We don't see Dan a lot. I know Dan got married recently, and he's running around doing all kinds of fun stuff, and apparently also crushing it in his real estate business. So super fun. Dan, hopefully you watch the video. Cheering you on, man. Good stuff. And then, love this, first transaction with EXP. So Mike, where did Mike go? Oh yeah, all right, he's off video now. He's hiding. We're celebrating you, Mike, and we're glad you're here. Good timing on being here. So first transactions with EXP, and he decided to just come in and not do a single transaction right away, but just to, let's just get 2 done right away with EXP. So man, we are pumped for you. We're excited. Off to a great start with EXP. You're on your way to getting capped. So you already get stock for closing your first transaction with the company. And then when you hit cap, you get more stock. And then when you hit Icon, you get a whole boatload of stock. So congrats to you, man. We're excited for you. Oops, forgot to take that off. And Eric Shingle in Pennsylvania. Eric, awesome, man. Great stuff. Excited for you. Off to an amazing start with EXP. Super exciting. So congrats to you, man. Keep up the great work. Let's keep cranking. Here's some fun stats for the FYR group. Check this out, guys. We closed 6 just this year, and this was through August. We closed 600 sales. We closed $300 million worth of volume. And our average sales price is $500,000. And our ratios are about 56% buyers, 44% sellers. And we've added 50 new agents to the FYR community so far this year. So we're aiming to see if we can get to 100 this year. So if we grow by at least, we'll grow by 100 this year. Next year, we'll grow by 150 to 200. And the next year, we'll go by 250 to 300, right? It just keeps on compounding. Our community gets bigger. Our opportunities get bigger. Opportunities to help each other. And of course, those people aren't, we've sponsored some, sure, but predominantly those people are people that you guys have introduced to the company. So that's generating opportunity for you. So, if we're going to get at least another 50 this year, the question is, how many of them are you going to introduce to EXP? Right? How many people, how many friends can you bring in? How many other people can you reach out to? How do you help grow? The slogan for EXP lately has been that the new one this year has been where the pros go to grow, right? And I don't know if you guys saw, who's familiar with Brandon Brittingham? Anybody know Brandon? Yeah, Lars, I know you know him. He's an LNF guy and out of the Maryland and DC area market. Brandon is one of the top producing real estate agents in the world or in the country, which also would be in the world, and does a massive amount of business. He's been over at Long and Foster for a really long time. I had the opportunity to work closely with Brandon when I was an executive over at Long and Foster. And with his team and the expansion he's done, he's a pretty, reasonably young guy, and has built a massive team, does a ton of business, but he's also a really good entrepreneur. He's gotten into he's used the real estate opportunity to build layers in his business with property management and to own a bunch of property and to get into all different construction and everything else like that. So he's done really well. He's been part of John Cheplak's coaching group for a while, and I know he's been on stage doing a bunch of things. I think his team did almost 800 transactions in the last year. I mean, 777 was the number I saw out there, but Brandon did 300 of them himself. Just to give you an idea. So him and an assistant cranking through and doing deals. He's still grinding and out there doing a ton of work. So he just joined EXP. Which is great. So there's some announcements on that. It's really something to share. A lot of us are in this kind of mid-Atlantic area. If you're in the general mid-Atlantic area, then people will, a lot of people will know him. A lot of agents know him in general from out there. So it's a great thing to share on social media. If you're not connected with Brandon, get connected with him on social media. Reach out to him, say hi, give him a welcome. He's someone who's good to pick their brain. If you'd like a personal introduction, be happy to connect you with him as well. Brandon's he's great. He's a hard worker and does a lot of cool stuff. But just another example of some of the top producing agents in the country joining EXP, choosing this as the best place for their business and their team. So he's got a good sized team, and so he's got them all working on this platform now. So very exciting, lots of fun. You should have gotten all the stuff from Kristen. Last month we were, I don't even know, I honestly don't know where we were or what we were doing, because we were moving and doing whatever. So we did not have one of these meetings last month, but you should have gotten all the info and stats out there to you. So this is some of the info that was out there. You should all have this in your emails and text messages and all of that. And just keep in mind, guys, that we try to send out a lot of stuff to just to keep you informed. But it's, if you want to be informed, if you ever feel like, man, there's do we have any classes? Like, how many people knew about Fast Cap? All right. Fast Cap is an incredible new class. Amazing. Brian Ellington and the team over there, Candice Garcia and a bunch of others have, along with some of the top producing agents, have created Fast Cap. It's a class designed to help you get, whether you're a new agent and want to ramp up your business quickly, or you're a producing agent looking to get past your cap and go work towards getting to Icon and all that kind of stuff as quickly as possible. It's an awesome class. They already ran through a kind of a test class on it, and the results were through the roof, ridiculously high. And so they said, great, we have a good thing. We have locked in exactly what we want. And so it just started. But you have to register and everything else. And then there's only a certain number of people that can get in, and that's it. So right now it's closed and operating, but you want to keep tabs on it. So the way you get that information is being plugged into anything that we're sending out to you, be plugged into Workplace. Make sure you're following EXP on all socials and all that stuff. Be in the know on all the things that are out there, because there's tons of opportunities, tons of ways to make money, tons of information on, all the changes and all that kind of stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So speaking of, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Hey, all right. So I want to do a quick check-in. NAR changes and all that other kind of stuff. I feel like if I hear NAR changes again, I may get sick. because it's been out there everywhere, but it's a big deal. I mean, it's a like physical change to the way that we do business. Super proud of EXP. I think Leo Pareja has demonstrated excellent leadership for our company as our fairly new CEO of EXP Realty. I've known Leo for a really long time, a really great guy. So I'm not surprised, but just really, really pleased with how much EXP has done and how much we have led the industry through this change. So you've all kinds of stuff and all kinds of information, but I want to make sure it's gotten to you and that you're comfortable with where you are, because the worst thing that can happen right now is, you get analysis paralysis, a little bit of deer in the headlights, and then your business suffers and you slow down because you're afraid to take a misstep. The second worst thing to do would be to go, it's not a big deal. I'm just going to keep doing things that I have done them, because there are some hefty fines being levied out there as well. So I just want to open up the mics and everything else like that. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or solutions that you found, or anything else like that we can share, I'm happy to help answer questions and that kind of stuff with that here. But let's crowdsource just to make sure that everyone is feeling good and confident and that kind of stuff. Any concerns? Has it been a big issue, or has it been a kind of like, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal? Talk to me.
Well,
Good.
I had a buyer yesterday that I had to go through, and so I had another buyer that I went through, and he was perfectly fine, and signing the agreement and going with the flow. The one yesterday, he only wanted to try it out for 3 days.
Okay.
So I was like, I can't really do my service. I cannot really help you fully in 3 days. You're a buyer, you're looking. There's no way I can just do for 3 days. So could you give me, because I asked for 6 months, and he said 3 days. And then I said, okay, then can we just do 3 months? And if we need to extend it, we can try it. And he agreed to do it for 2 weeks. And he said he wants to see how we work out. And if he's happy, then he's willing to extend. So I really had to work hard. I sent him list of references, and I send him the listing. So we're actually going out today. So he had the previous agent that he wasn't really happy with, and so he didn't want to lock into a relationship. And I'm just gonna, but then I was, running today, and I was thinking, these things come to my mind, and it's actually good thing for me. And I can actually try out this relationship with him as well. And maybe it might not work out. Maybe he's just, maybe he might not be the right client for me. So
Yeah.
we will see. So I'm, looking at it positive, and I'm actually showing him something today. So
Good.
So we'll see how it goes. But 2 weeks, and then hopefully it works out and I can extend it.
That's awesome.
That's weird, because the buyer agency agreement is cancelable. If he doesn't like the way it's going, he just says, I'm done with you, right?
Yeah, and that's what I told him. We can cancel it either, from either party. But he
Yeah.
said, then, so then let's just try for 2 weeks.
He's afraid to commit. Classic man.
That's so funny. No, but Jen, that was great. I mean, I love the way that you pivoted with that and work with them and kind of negotiate a little bit and do it. And what's interesting, those of us that have been in the business for a while, although the law wasn't the same, the mindset was different a while back, right? So I mean, I first started working with buyers in, trying to think of when it was, late 90s, 2000 or whatever, right, in sales. And so it was a different mindset, different conversation back then, in that process. And so getting a buyer's agency, I mean, I was always taught, and then when we worked through, then what we would teach was talking with that buyer and go, okay, yes, it may be fairly standard for the seller to pay the commission, but ultimately you are responsible for making sure that I get paid. So we had to come to the table with our value proposition. Like, I love the fact that you got, okay, great, references and everything else. So I would treat, there used to be a buyer presentation, right? Back in the old days, you had paper flip through, like consumers didn't have access to the MLS. They didn't have access to the listings. And so in order to get to them, they had to get to you. And you get like the old, where you had a dot matrix printout and you had the accordion file, the papers, and it had codes on it that, that the buyers and sellers couldn't really read. They didn't really know all those things and that sort of thing. So they had to come to us for access to the information. But in meeting with the buyer, it was treated very much like going on a listing presentation, right? I teach sending out a pre-listing presentation so that you are, I'm going to brag on myself and my company and my stats and everything I do and why I'm, here's me versus the MLS, the standard realtor out there. When they list your house, their average days on market is this. Their average sold price compared to the listing price is this. Here, here's what the stats are for your local market, but here's what mine are. Mine are better. I outperform the market for my clients. So I'm going to do all of those things on a listing presentation prior to going on the listing presentation, because when I get there and sit in front of you as a seller, I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about you and your needs. I want to make the whole entire thing about, uncovering your needs and doing whatever, but I don't want you to not know that I'm a killer real estate agent and that I outperform the market, right? So the pre-listing presentation is really important. And if you can have something these days, obviously digital, they can go through and see all the stuff that you do. That's amazing. So getting all of those things to the sellers ahead of time, so you can sit down, they've already done it. You sit down and go, hey, did you get a chance to look through this stuff? If they didn't, go, hey, let's look at this real quick. I just want to share these things with you. And then I want to make this all about you. Well, it used to be that you would do the buy side the same way. Right. And we've gotten away from that because it's been hey, I've found everything I want to look at. I want to go see this house right now. And you had to jump on it and write a contract, or otherwise you lose it. All right. Well, now that we've gone back that it's required to have paperwork signed, now all of a sudden, even though it's still a very, in most markets, things are slowed some in some markets, but it's still a very quick, you see it, you got to come in, write an offer, multiple offers, all that kind of stuff. But you have to have that agency signed. And so having a pre-buyer's packet, so to speak, where you have it all together, you have your resume, basically, you have your stats, you have the stuff that you've done, you have why they should work with you, they have why working with you backed by EXP is important for them. What are the things about EXP and all that kind of stuff like that? And with this change, you may be have some of the articles about EXP and how they have led the industry in this change. And they go, well, what about all this change I'm reading about? And what about all this stuff? And you go, well, that's part of the reason I'm with EXP, because they're a leader in the industry. They acted fast. Most of the other brokerages out there have adopted our structure and our paperwork because it has been blessed by all the stuff that's gone on, and it clearly lays out exactly what everyone's responsibilities are. And they've made sure that we, as contractors with EXP, understand exactly how to protect you through this process and keep the most money in your pocket as a buyer, which is what buyers want, right? And so that's part of that process that you send out there and have it on the ready, so that you can be putting stuff out there. You can even make a video out of it and throw it on YouTube. You can put it on your website. You could have as a PDF. You could have all different kinds of stuff like that where people can see, and you say, hey, I want to sit down with you and help you buy the homes and do everything else like that. Processes have changed a little bit, and you should educate yourself and on why I'm your safest and best bet to go work with in writing an offer to get you the best price, keep the most money in your pocket, make it a smooth transaction, and that kind of stuff, and navigate through this. And to be honest, a lot of the sellers and sellers agents won't understand it. You will be in a position of power by working with me, because we're going to know exactly how to work with this so that you get the most money, right? You get the best deal on this purchase. So you have that kind of stuff, have that already created. Don't wait until someone says, hey, I want to go look at a house. And then they go, well, why? Oh, I don't want to sign this. And you're like, oh, hold on, let me go think of some cool things about myself, right? That should all be done. You guys should have that package, that pre-buyer package that's all about you and your business that you're ready to provide at all times. Make it easy to access. And there's no reason to just send it out. There's nothing secret in there, right? I would be blasting that from the mountaintops and say, hey, you should be working with me. Here's why. And then put that, like I said, if you want to put it in a video, great. If you want to put it on something digital, online, attach it to your website, put a link to it in your signature page, in your email, that kind of stuff. So anyway, have those things ready. So Jen, I love that you're sending out the, here's some of my stats and here's some of the stuff that I've done. If you don't know your stats, go find them, right? You go right to the MLS. It doesn't matter if you've only had one sale, right? If you've closed one sale, you have stats. Okay. So now you're going to look at it and say, okay, what was the original listing price of that home? And what did we get it for? What was the percentage of the original listing price that my client was able to get the house for if I represented on the buy side? Right. And then go look at the MLS and get those stats and say, what's the original listing price for the MLS? And then what are homes selling for? What's the percentage of the original listing price that they're selling for? Then compare yours to there, and you can say, hey, on average, my buyers get their homes for 8% less than the average buyer in our multiple list. That means I'm a better negotiator. I'm better at knowing the market, right? I know what the home is worth. I know what sellers will take, and I will help you to negotiate properly to get that house, right? And all the others, a whole bunch of different stats out there that you can grab from the MLS and then look at your own in that production and say, look, here's what I've been able to do for my clients versus what the typical buyer finds out there. Do this also obviously on the sale side, right? Any listings that you've represented. You should know the market stats and know your own stats and how you stack up, because that's why people want to work with you. So again, there's a old saying, price is only an issue in the absence of value, right? And so, when they feel like, oh my gosh, I need to work with you, you're going to protect me. You know what's going on. You're educated. You're not afraid of these new changes. Everyone else I've asked about it has kind of been, oh, I don't know, whatever. And you've been able to be very succinct and talk to me about how this impacts me. And hey, you know what? I don't care what the rules are. We've always said this, right? I don't care what the rules are. Just tell me what they are so I can figure out how to use those rules to win. Right. And so that's where you go, hey, all right, so the rules have changed. Cool. The person who learns them the best and figures out the path forward is the one who's going to win. And so you tell your clients, hey, as a buyer, the best time to buy is right now. I'd be telling everyone on the fence, the best time to buy is right now because there's confusion in the marketplace. The sellers don't know what they can get anymore. It's not cut and dry. It's not, I have to do this, I can't do that, and they're not sure what to do with it. The sellers' agents half the time don't even know anymore. I know. We're going to use this time and confusion to go in there and steal you an incredible deal. Okay. So anyway, soapbox for the day. But that's what I recommend that you guys do going out there. Be prepared in advance. Have that, treat the buyers now as a pre-buyer, and also, the days of I still have them. I'm happy to send out to you guys. They're probably a little dated because people weren't doing it as much, but the questions that you ask where you do the buyer needs analysis and taking them through to really understand what they're looking for. And you say, hey, look, if we're going to do all this and you're going to sign this agency agreement with me and everything else, let's take the time to sit down and really understand. Instead of I know ultimately no one knows better than you what you're looking for. But, if you will take a few minutes with me on the front end, then I can help you narrow down quickly and present to you, or help you weed through the listings that you look at to make sure you look at only the right houses that really fit your needs, right? That we can get through to the settlement table and you get to the house that you want. Then you go through that and you say, great, let's sit down. We can do it over the phone. We can do it over Zoom. We can do it in person. I'm going to take you through a needs analysis. It'll take us about 20 minutes. Right. And then we will have exactly what you're looking for. And I'm going to ask you some questions that maybe you haven't even thought of asking yourself, which will save you some time and a little bit of analysis paralysis when you're out there trying to navigate this market right now. Okay. These are the kind of some old skills that people haven't needed for a while. The ones who develop them now are gonna win faster. All right. Any other concerns about the changes? Questions at all about the changes? Anything that we can do to help you?
I have a question for you. Seems like when I called, or no, just inquired about to the listing agent before I'm showing a house, I'm either getting ones that tell me exactly what the commission is, and others just saying, oh, it's negotiable. What are you all doing? What as listing agents? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Kim, go
I
ahead.
just had a listing and I am not telling agents, or I did not, we're under contract now, but my reasoning was my due diligence is to my seller. And to my opinion is it doesn't, for the best interest of my seller, it does not, it's everything's negotiable, right? So now it's just negotiable. And in the other agent, it's like, well, how much are you worth? So put it in the contract. And turns out, I mean, my clients were willing to pay more commission than what the buyer clients put in the contract. So hence he's not getting as much. So my clients were super happy about that. So
I
mean,
couldn't agree
he
more. That's what I
wasn't-
don't, yeah, I don't understand why someone would tell me the commission at this point,
Yeah,
like, right?
well, they got really mad, but it's like, it's not my job to tell you how to do your job. Like, I don't want to be condescending to you, but you know, and I'm sorry, but if you want to have a meeting after we close the deal, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Come on over to EXP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you know, Dave, the challenge is always, it's not the agents that have been taking the training classes over the summer, like pretty much everybody on this call. I know my team has. It's all of the agents that took the summer off. They like, what changes? You know, what happened? Why isn't the buyer broker commission in the MLS any longer? So that's always the challenge. Whenever we go through these kind of changes, it's the uninformed and often misinformed real estate agents. So it's going to be the Wild West probably for the next 6 months, I would think, you know, through the fall for sure. And, you know, we have to be the ones, the voice of reason. And Kim, I got to tell you, great job with that one. You know, I love hearing that. So,
yeah.
but just, you know, stay tuned, keep informed, you know, go to if you're not in Virginia, we have 2 excellent brokers here in Virginia that have been in Northern Virginia that have been teaching some great classes. And, you know, and it's still changing. So, but I love it that we have this discussion. So thanks for bringing this up, Dave.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And Lisa and Kim, you know, I think you guys are spot on with your thinking on that. So great, you know, great job on that. Yeah, it's a couple of things, right? It's when we've taken it out of a broker to broker compensation, right? It is back. And again, I'm going to go back to the fact that the law is new, but the practice and process is actually much more in tune with the way that it used to be, right? So the way that I would explain buyer's agency, you know, a long time ago was the fact that, like, you know, okay, here's the agreement. And as a buyer's agent, we would a lot of times say, hey, we want 4%, right? The buyer, you're required to pay me 4%. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to ask the seller to pay, or they're going to have a compensation that they're going to offer as part of the process. But same compensation with a seller, and you guys as listing agents have probably had this, where you go, okay, you sit down with your seller and they say, okay, I'm willing to pay 5%. And then you go, okay, are we going to split it 2.5, 2.5? Or they're willing to pay, I'll pay 5.5%. And you're like, cool, you know, I'm going to take 3% and we're going to co-op 2.5% or whatever. You always had the ability to determine what your sellers were going to offer, but it was broker to broker commission. So as the representative of the broker in that transaction, you were deciding how much was being offered, but you had that conversation with your client to determine, well, why would we want to offer that? Okay, well, that's going to attract more buyers agents to want to show your property and all that kind of stuff, right? It's some of the conversation. But in the end, if your client was super tight, like back, you know, when the property values were down, right? And that when market after 07, 08 and everything else like that, and people didn't have the equity in their homes and they couldn't afford, they weren't going to make enough money selling their home to be able to pay a high commission, right? If they had to pay a high commission, they were going to have to short sell their home. And so in that circumstance, we'd say, oh, I can only pay 4%. We'll do 2 and 2 or whatever it is. So it became a negotiating tactic on, okay, if we're going to pay less commission, but the buyer is going to have a responsibility to pay their client, because they, you know, if they had an agency agreement and it said 3% and it was only being co-opted out at 1.5 to 2%, then technically the buyer owes the buyer's agent the delta between that commission. Now, a lot of buyers agents didn't hold their clients to the toes to the fire on that and just accepted whatever was offered, but some did, right? And so that's one of those. See, Kim, but that's one of those things where, like, that's the way that it always had been. And so now we're kind of back to being a negotiating tactic as a seller to determine what's the amount the seller needs to get and wants to get from the sale of their home. And then based on all of those things, it's price and commission they're willing to pay, or concession, right? There's now a concession to the buyer so the buyer can pay their agent. right? It's just, we've changed the path instead of broker to broker. Now it's buyer to seller, I'm sorry, seller to buyer, and then buyer to their agent as commission, right? So we've changed the path a little bit, but in the end, it's still part of the negotiating tactic. And so from a pricing strategy on your home, that's a conversation you need to have in a little bit different way. Instead of how much commission total are you going to pay me? And because I have to co-op here and I got to pay my broker and I got to do whatever. Now it's saying, listen, here's how much you're going to pay me to sell your home. Me and my broker, my brokerage. This is what you're going to pay us to represent you selling your home. However, just understand that buyers now have to pay their, that commission. And so they're going to expect some kind of concession. So we need to decide in our pricing strategy, are we going to pay that? Are we not going to pay it? And if we are, how much are we willing to pay? And we need to have that decided ahead of time. Then we can negotiate that. Everything's negotiable, and it's just like the price. They're going to come in as offer. Now they're probably going to come in and ask for it. So you're having all those discussions ahead of time. But the same thing to Lisa and Kim's point is that, they don't, if the buyer's agent comes in and says, well, what are your sellers willing to take for the house? Right? You're not going to answer that question. You're going to say, give us an offer and we'll talk about it. Right? You can't, that would be breaking your fiduciary responsibility to your sellers to disclose what your sellers are willing to receive. So when the buyer's agent comes to you and says, how much are they willing to pay in commission as a concession? If you tell them that, you're giving away the negotiating tactic for your sellers. So I would highly recommend that you don't disclose that information. And that's something where you say, well, under the new structure, that now becomes part of the negotiation, it's price. That is price and seller concession. So I can't disclose to you what price my buyers or my sellers are willing to take, nor what concessions they're willing to give. So you guys can write an offer and present price that you're willing to pay and concessions that you're asking for, and we'll consider it amongst our other offers. So that's the new process. That's the new process. Does that make sense, Lars, as far as what you guys are? Cool. Anything else on that? All right, guys, listen, you got a lot of good experts on here. So you got a lot of people that are very seasoned, and throughout our group. So please, if you have any questions, if things come up, if you have situations that come up, or if you have questions ahead of time, whether the buy side or sell side, even if you're just working on your tactics, on your scripts and your processes to be prepared to work with sellers or buyers, please reach out. We can guide you through all of this. You're not out there on your own. And if you want to throw some stuff past us to see if it makes sense or whatever, or just test out like, hey, this is what I'm saying. Is this right? Or is this the best way? We're happy to help, and we're happy to do some other roundtable discussions and have a, mix of, some people that are, that have really studied it and that sort of thing. All right. Hopefully that's helpful to you guys.
Hey, Dave, can I jump in one more time?
Yes, please.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Mike Corin. He's on our call today. Mike joined us earlier this summer, and he's had a super busy summer. He's already kicking butt with some sales, and I love this guy. He and I got to work together many years ago at Long and Foster. And Dave, the year I met him, he was receiving an award from Realtor magazine for being a 30 under 30. So it was a few years ago, and I'm just thrilled to have you with us, Mike. So just wanted to take a minute to say hi.
You're muted, Mike. Mike, you're muted. Oh, Mike, can you hear me? Mike, you're muted. There you go. Now we can hear you.
No, I just want to thank you, and I wanted to apologize. I haven't been very interactive for several reasons. I was out of the country for a year and a half, so I just moved back, getting settled in. I'm building my businesses again. I also do a lot of investing on the side and flipping and wholesaling. But I'm engaged and getting married next month, so I've been quite busy, but I look forward to getting to know all of you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Congrats. And was it Costa Rica? I can't remember which.
I lived on an island in the Caribbean side of Honduras. One small island next to Roatan, if anyone knows where that is.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah, I remember last time we talked, and you were
I think I Zoomed with you from there, yeah.
Yep. You were getting ready to make a make the move back up. So cool. Well, hey, and congratulations to you on your engagement.
Thank you.
Very exciting times. All right. Good stuff. Yeah, we're so pumped that you're here. We're so pumped that you're here. So let us lean into this group. Let us know what we can do to support you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get back on here. I'll crank through a couple more things today. We have our buddies, Mike and Chris Rapucci. No, I'm just kidding. Rapucci.
I almost hung up on that one.
That's it. I'm out. I talk to these guys all the time. I don't know if you guys are getting a chance to talk to them all the time, but I highly encourage you. Experts in the real estate industry and mortgage field. They've been around doing this stuff for a long time. And so they're a tremendous resource that you guys have access to, being one of our key partners and part of the FYR Partners community. So guys, please just know they're here and you have access to them, and they're super responsive, and they can help answer a lot of questions too. So just another tremendous resource that they have. I'm going to turn it over to you guys and let you guys share what you got.
No, certainly appreciate that, Dave. And I think, as you just mentioned, and we are always here, even if it's just to answer questions on products, programs, opportunities, interest rates, what they're doing, et cetera. So if anybody has questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you don't have our contact information, Dave and Chris can certainly get it to you. For those that are not familiar with United Home Loans, though, we are a mortgage broker that was built specifically for realtors and for you all in particular. But what we just wanted to reiterate was the United 360 program. Happy to go into this in more detail in individual conversations or sessions. But our United 360 program is the only legal, legitimate, guaranteed way of getting you paid, you as a realtor, paid on your transactions, so that you're paid both on the buy side transaction as well as on the mortgage side of the transaction as well. Is the only way to do it legally. That's on the purchases. The other real interesting part, and if anybody's been watching the markets and what's actually going on and happening with interest rates, they're dropping, right? We are right now at the lowest point from an interest rate perspective since 2021. Okay, so the refinances are happening left, right, and center. If you signed up with the United 360 program and went through the steps, you could be paid when your clients go through and refinance on the mortgages that they settled over the past couple of years as well, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be clients, past clients. It could be anyone you know, right? So, and if you have people out there that have been in their house for a little while and they didn't work with you and they want to refinance, you can also get paid on them. So it doesn't have to be someone that you've worked with.
Yeah, Dave, and that's a great point, because we've gone over just the past 2 months, maybe, I don't know, 25, 30 different realtor partners, gone through all of their transactions, real estate transactions, and really detailed. So even if they were on the buy side, right, you obviously have information on the sales price, the mortgage amount, the interest rate, things like that. It's very easy for us to help them put together spreadsheets and say, okay, fine, this is the interest rate that they bought the home, and this is where the interest rate needs to be in order for it to make sense for them to refinance. And then we start engage those clients. But it's also a matter of on the sales side, right? Sales side, you still have access to a lot of that information. And all of so even if you were on the buy side, that sales side of the transaction where you're able to pull that information from the closing documents, those clients that weren't even your clients, you have access to the information that says, okay, this is the rate that it should fall to in order for it to even make sense for them to refinance, right? So to Dave's point, whether it's your past client or a new client or somebody on the street, somebody that you're talking to that needs to refinance, you can absolutely take advantage of United 360 from that perspective as well.
Yep. And you can advertise that on social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, have you noticed the rates are falling, right? If you got a mortgage sometime in the last, 3 years, you may, it may be financially beneficial for you to take a look at a refinance right now, right? Contact me to find out more. And then they contact you, and then you go, great, let's go through your application and do whatever. You have your link to go through, they do that, and then they're connected with a full-time mortgage professional, loan officer, who will then look at product and everything else with them, right? So you need to be the conduit, you need to be the relationship, and you need to capture their information as part of your job as the loan officer assistant, right? They go through your link to go in to do all of those things. And, so you satisfy your requirements to do that, to be able to get paid for that. So for the refinances, that's something where they don't even have to be your contacts, right? This could be something that you can, just put out some basic stuff. And then, obviously you're going through the program. You want to talk to Mike and Chris about that and say, okay, great. If I'm going to go advertise this and go look for people, what do I need to say? What do I not need to say? That kind of stuff. So you stay compliant on those things. But honestly, if you're just saying, hey, rates are dropping, if you're curious about, what this means for you, reach out to me. That's clean, right? That's the kind of stuff that you can do. And guys, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. Roughly, what rate or higher is it financially viable? I mean, I know at any time you can refinance if it drops down, but when does it make sense at this point based on where rates are ish and where they have been, where anybody who's like here or above should be really looking or starting to kind of keep an eye out?
Yeah, so it's kind of a loaded question, right? Because a lot of it has to do with the value of the home. Can we drop the mortgage insurance? Because if we can drop the mortgage insurance due to the increased value of the home, the impact on the actual interest rate itself changes, right? The vast majority of individuals were sitting in the 7s, right? Now we're in the low 6s. Normally, when the interest rate that you're able to secure is 1 point less than what you currently have, it's kind of an automatic, right? But where you really get into a half of a point is where you really start looking, and then you start diving into the numbers. There are streamlined FHAs. There are on the VA side, it's an IRRL, which are very, very clean, easy processes to go through. So on those types of loans, the interest rate, the variance of the interest rate from where you started to where you are now, where the interest rates are now, doesn't have to change as much as it would on the conventional side. Again, kind of a loaded question, Dave, but it's really, if your clients are if they're first-time home buyers, also makes a difference. But if your clients were 7.5, then they should be refinancing now.
Yeah, I mean, even yesterday, we're pricing out 5.5 for some people.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
Keep in mind, guys, that, you're talking about an impact on the DTI, right? That debt to income ratios and everything else. So there, that could also further give them access to a better rate, right? There's a lot of different things that come in place. So if you have some clients out there where you think this might be good, or you want to get, more knowledgeable on this, talk to Mike and Chris. And of course, in order to take advantage of this, you have to go through the United 360 program and get your, become an LOA. But the way that it's structured, if you talk to them and you say, yeah, this makes sense, I want to do this, right? I'm going to make more money on refinances. I'm going to make money on more money on the buy side and all of those things. And you can also refer other people into the program and make money from their transactions as well, right? So lots of different ways to make more money. But if you commit to going through it, if you can get through it this year, we'll immediately start holding that income aside for you until your license is active, and then pay you out in a sum once that license becomes active for anything that happens between now and when your license is actually active. So as long as you have the conversation and commit to doing it, get yourself ready to sign to a class, then we can start doing that for you as well. We need to jump over to our title partners, but guys, this is again, great resource for information. I really encourage you, if you have not been reaching out to them, to have a conversation and start talking about what they can do for you. If you're not interested in doing United 360, that's fine. We have incredible mortgage partners to work with, both on the loans for your clients and also for just knowledge for yourself in the industry. Thank you, guys.
Dave, one quick point for anybody that has heard about the program, is interested in joining and becoming part of it. The sign up for the next live class is actually today. Today's the deadline. The class starts on September 16th. So anybody that's interested, on the fence, want to talk about it more, today's the day. Let us know. We'll help you get signed up.
Yeah, and then we'll announce when the next round of live training is after that. But
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll keep that rolling. And if you've gone part of the way through and haven't fully completed it, encourage you guys to get it fully wrapped up and get going. Let's take advantage of it. It's the opportunity is, you know, it's really good right now. So it's really strongly encourage you guys to do it. If you have questions, connect. Awesome. Thank you guys. All right. United Land Transfer Services. We have Beth and Lauren on with us today. Hey guys.
Hello.
Good to see you. Good to see you. And, you know, again, I can say we went through the sale and then purchase and worked with both of our partner companies for both of those. And awesome. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to give you a minute or two to share anything you want to share. And I do have your video that we can show. It's short, real short. One kind of fun.
Yeah, so United Land Transfer set up for you guys for the agents. We're based out of PA, but we have the ability to do other states. So we have 4 underwriters that we can work with. Fidelity's the one that we can go with other states in, and we can set it up with notaries and title companies out there in the state that you're in. But me and Beth will be your main contact. Anything else? It's really.
No, and any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be glad to answer everything. And if we can't, we certainly will get to the answer.
Yes.
Love it. How many years of experience do you guys have roughly?
Way too many.
Yeah.
A lot of years, guys, a lot of years. So again,
It's like the mob. Once you're in, you can't get out.
that's right. That's right. So it just in terms of having, again, great resources, knowledgeable people, knowledgeable partners, ask questions and all that kind of stuff. We've got an incredible team here. So don't be shy, guys, reach out.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Build a relationship first. We know if you're already working with someone or whatever else, but you're like, man, I really need to get some questions answered. Reach out, build a relationship, get to know them, ask questions, get their level of expertise, so that you have that in place.
Yeah, and we're really, like, we have a very broad, it's not just residential. We do residential, commercial, new construction. We pretty much have it set down so that we are kind of like an expert in all 3 of those areas. So we're not limited. You know, feel free to come with us with any title orders that you have, even refinances. You know, if you work with United Mortgage, we will work with them and we will be all exclusive and one big team. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. That's awesome. All right, let's look at this real quick. Let me see if I can get this to show for you guys.
Yeah, hopefully it will.
Going to do this and then see if you guys can hear this. Give me
Okay, so you know title insurance is important for verifying the title of your property, right? So trusting in the right company is also important. But how do you pick the best provider? Well, as you work with your real estate agent or lender, here are 3 things to consider when looking for a title insurance company: experience, reputation, and reliability. Every state is different, so the company you choose should have solid partnerships with local businesses, representatives with significant experience in your community, and expert knowledge of your local laws. You also want a title company with a good reputation for solving complex problems, mediating difficult circumstances, and dealing with any situation that comes up, because you never know what might come up. And finally, you want a representative who's backed by decades of reliability, with the financial stability to be around for many years to come. So, as you work with your real estate agent or lender, ask about the title company and choose one that's experienced, reputable, and reliable.
All right. Fun.
That's us.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you, ladies. We appreciate it. We appreciate everything that you're doing, all the hard work, guys. Again, just encourage you to reach out, build the relationships in advance. Really, really incredible. We can close, title in pretty much every state in the country. So you have the opportunity to do that. You would still have Beth and Lauren as your contacts for that, right? So you have single point of contact to go in right through our team right here. But we can do business in any state for that. And for mortgage, we are in a whole bunch of states and growing quickly. So reach out to Mike and Chris on that.
And the other good thing too is our manager, Elizabeth, she is also an attorney. So even if like you have like simple questions about, regulations and the legals and stuff like that, she's really great to work with.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I had a good friend of mine who had has a very, very complicated title issue and through family and all kinds of other stuff like that. And he was asking me the stuff, and I've been doing this for a long time. And I was like, I don't know, but I know who does know, and connecting them with Elizabeth. So she's got the skills for sure. And we appreciate that. It's really, really important to have people that really understand it, the law and the processes. So we're going to leave you with this, guys. EXPCon Miami. This is the first time we're doing EXPCon on the East Coast. And we have a lot of people. Most of the people in our group have been East Coast because that's where we're based out of, right? So that's where our relationships are. We're growing across the West Coast and in other countries, but a lot of you are here. It's faster, cheaper, quicker, to get to Miami than it is to get to some of the other places that some of the events have been. So if you were thinking about going and you haven't gone before, or you're thinking maybe this year I won't go, guys, it's in Miami, super fun city. There's a rumor that we're going to have pickleball in the convention center to play some pickleball down there while you're there. We have incredible keynote speakers. You can go through and get all your certifications, the company certifications. They're going to have those cert classes there. So you paid your ticket in, will get you into those certification classes, masterminds, breakout sessions, all of those things, and building relationships and getting referral partners all over the country and that sort of thing. So guys, these are always worthwhile to go to. When you do it right, you make money by going to these things, not spend money. It's 100% an investment, especially if you do it the right way. So if you're grabbing a free certification class and that's going to boost your business, if you're making some referral partners, what are the key markets where your clients are moving in and out of? Go find people from those markets and, handshake, rub elbows, build relationship, and be their key referral partner. Take some notes on different things that you're going to do for your business that's going to ramp up your business and power through. Make sure you're totally in tune on all the changes and everything that's going on and hear of those things. Understand about all the different classes and different opportunities that EXP has to power your business forward. All right. So all of the things, I bet there are at least 5 amazing things that would absolutely propel your business forward that are already available to you right now that you don't know about. Minimum of 5, I would bet my life on it. Okay. So you need to find out what they are. This is a great way to go do that. And oh, by the way, it's Miami. It's fun. So there's that. All right. So let us know, keep us in touch. If you've signed up and everything else, if you're going to be there, just ping us and be like, hey, I'm going to be there. Right. So we want to make sure we get a group together for a little face-to-face, have some fun. It's going to be Miami. And that's it. That's it, guys. So you can find all this stuff out at EXP. You can go to EXPCon. You can Google that and it'll get you right into your links and stuff. I'm going to stop share for 1 second. All right. All right, y'all. Again, welcome to all of our folks that are new. Mike, we're super pumped that you're here. Really great. And we appreciate you. Again, you have your resources, you have all the folks here in the group and that sort of thing. If there are questions about whether you're here with us today or you're watching this on video later, if you have questions about this, about the NAR changes and about, even if it just triggered some thoughts on what to do on the listing side or the buy side, ping us. Because we can put together panels and put together some things like that and get some folks that really feel like they've got a good handle on it. And we know that they've studied it and they've got the experience in it and maybe some scripts and processes. Let's, even if you go, hey, I think I'm pretty good. If you don't think that you're the best that you can be in those things, or you're looking for some other opportunity, or if you're someone who says, man, I've nailed it, I've got all this stuff dialed in, I would be happy to be a panelist or to share. Let's put those things together. Let's make sure everyone feels super solid on it. Let's go sell some houses. Let's have some fun. Appreciate you guys. Have an amazing weekend. See y'all.